In the late spring of 2012, I was asked by the president of the College of Central Florida to work with my students to paint this Patriot Pride horse to go on our campus. It's actually similar to the horse fever horses that are displayed around Ocala, Florida, where the college is. In keeping with the theme of the horse, I actually incorporated the horse itself into the imagery that would go on it. And so we used different areas of campus, different fields of study to make pictorial references on the horse. And the first ones that we used were some nursing students. So here are some images from the photo shoot, which they obviously had a lot of fun doing, and there's their professor with them that brought them. So they posed with the horse. Then I also went to a chemistry class on campus and got some footage from them to put together. I ended up having to Photoshop all these images together to make the images, the painting for the painting, the drawings. Next we had our EMT students, and you can see that they got very involved too, putting the horse there on the stretcher, the gurney, and then they also tried to revive our white fiberglass horse that we took the pictures of them with. There's a couple other images, and you'll see those show up on the horse, but those are all the photoshopped things. So after the drawing was done, we used an overhead projector. I worked some with the students, and we traced that onto the horse. Of course, we had to adjust it and move it around. You can see that because it's not a flat surface, the image would actually get a little distorted at times, and so we had to move the image on the projector up and down to make it actually fit onto the horse and make sense. So the first thing that the class did, and this was in the late fall of 2012, they started the base coat of the blue, and this took us actually a couple days to do that. And even though it will look like it's essentially done after a few of the images, the blue part that is, we had to go over that multiple times because it was kind of streaky, and different people had different mixtures, and eventually we got it so that it came out pretty even, but it did take a while to do that. Then some of the students that were some of my more advanced students, while some were still working on the blue that goes in the hair areas like the mane and the tail and then on the body, some of them started doing, as well as I started doing, some of this underpainting. I decided to go with more of a glazing approach for this because everyone would have completely different styles of painting, and if I had different people work on different images on the sides of the horse, it was going to be all over the place as far as technique and style. So I figured if they could begin doing the underpainting here, like you see this student Daniela doing, that I would be able to kind of finish that off and make it look a little more cohesive as one project and one piece in the end. So they worked on this for a few weeks actually during their class periods. I think some came in outside of class and got the brown underpainting part done, and then you can see they started moving into using, I think they used some green and some blues and maybe even violet colors to deepen up what the colors were on the underpainting, and slowly the images start coming to life on the sides of the horse. Including the Patriot logo there that one particular student had worked on. That still had some touching up to do, but that was close to being done right there. That was one of the requests of the president, that the logo of the college teams end up being on there. So you can see some of those images show up on there. You see how the horse itself, unpainted, is there in the chemistry class. It's there by a statue that's on campus, and the image that you hadn't seen before was the horse singing with the choir there, with its complete with its bow tie and its formal attire. So we didn't have a painting class in the spring of 2013, but I did have some students who eventually came in to keep working on this with me. I was working on it little bits at a time. You can see some of the brown still showing through in some of these areas, and some of those white areas like the horse looked like not much had really been done to them, but there were lots of layers of glazing that actually went into that. And slowly the images come to life. It was quite a chore to have to do this on on a canvas, if you will, that was not flat. It did change things, and some things had to be altered in the middle of the painting process because they just weren't working the way that things normally would. And even the surface being this smooth fiberglass was a little different to work on. But the students really got into it. It had kind of this humorous image on it, so they got into that as much as well. And here you can see it kind of coming together toward the end. We had to even out some of that transition from the light blue to a darker blue on the legs that kind of goes up under the belly there. And so this is a lot of the evening out toward the end of the process that the students worked on. And I finished it up, the rest of the painting, past what they're doing right here, in the summer of 2013. And then it was actually placed on campus in the fall of 2013. After it left the studio where we were working on it, it had to have a clear coat placed over it before it was placed in front of the Weber Center, which is where the campus gallery is at. That clear coat, which is like an automotive paint that goes on it, is very shiny and very reflective, and you can actually see some of the reflections on it. But there it stands at one of the entrances of the campus now, and so everybody can see that as they come in through there, and hopefully the students in the other programs are happy to see their programs reflected in this image.